Alrighty, welcome. This is a part of a new series I'm going to be doing on lessons we can learn from various fiction enterprises. Everything from Star Wars, as here, to Star Trek, to Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. And if you have something you're interested in and you want me to rake it over the coals, just let me know. So, starting with Star Wars. What lessons can we learn from Star Wars with the broad strokes? I'll try to stick with the movies. Number one, if you're leading a giant galactic empire, don't allow text crawls. I don't care if you have to put satellites in orbit over every planet, but if you're in power and that text starts scrolling over a planet, shit's gonna go down and you're in trouble. So, don't, lock that shit down. 2, your elite military should have rock solid armor. Stormtroopers' armor is kind of trash. They should also have better marksmanship training. Next, fire on all escape pods. Well, yeah, that's a tough one. Depending on your moral stance, even if there aren't people in an escape pod, either fire on it or track it. Better yet, disable it and go out and get it. Space is big. Granted, they were over a planet in Episode 4, so that's a tough one. Other lessons. Don't try to shoot. This might not apply to day-to-day life for humans, but for us. But don't try to shoot Jedi with blasters. That never works. It never works. Well, yeah, you need to have overwhelming fire, and you're going to lose a lot of people. Not worth it. Use alternative methods. If they can sense danger, use something that comes from all directions at once, or find a way to get around it. Use poison gas or explosives, things like that. You're better off. Other lessons you can learn from Star Wars. Never trust politicians, although I'm pretty sure we figured that one out by now. Be mindful of trade disputes, because they can wreck your shit pretty quick, especially over time, because you never notice problems that are incremental, that build up over time. Things that encroach one step every day, or like a few feet every year, they go unnoticed because, biologically we're kind of programmed to focus on things that we consider to be existential threats. Like if somebody's throwing something at us, or if we can't pay our rent. But we never really notice when people are slowly pulling the rug out from under us. And so be mindful of that stuff. It's dangerous. Other stuff you can learn from Star Wars. Oh yeah. If you're building, first of all, never put all your eggs in one basket. Like the Death Stars, horrible investments. Just build a fleet. If you destroy one ship in a fleet, you still have the whole fleet. If you destroy the Death Star, it's done. Right, nothing is invincible. It's the Titanic dilemma. Put all your hopes in one basket. Odds are that basket's going to get flipped over. Also, this is a general rule, and but it especially applies in the case of if you have all your eggs in one basket. Don't allow a giant glaring hole. Don't allow a giant glaring weakness in that basket, in that investment, because odds are they're going to find it, and all of a sudden you're out all that investment, all those people, all that loss. If you have a thermal exhaust port like they had, I know they ray shielded it, which means it was particle shielded, so physical objects can't get through. The proton torpedoes only worked because they had shielding of their own, so they were able to pass through. Much like the droids were able to, in Episode 1, were able to walk through the Gungan shield, but you can't shoot through it. Has to do with electrical discharge, I'm pretty sure. But how hard is it to slap a metal grate over it? Because shoot some proton torpedoes at a ray shield, they'll go through. Shoot some proton torpedoes at a metal grate, you have a surface detonation, which is harmful, but it's the difference between a mosquito bite and an aneurysm, roughly speaking. Lessons from Star Wars. What else can I say? Be careful who you teach the Force to. And don't kidnap children. Jesus. If you have a risky student coming in, have them trained by the best. Don't just toss them onto Obi-Wan. Oh, if you get your hands on a laser sword or a plasma sword, I hate it when people call them laser swords. Don't immediately point it at your frickin' face like a dumbass. Jeez. Ugh. Come on, Luke. Well, I guess maybe they just had to show just how far he could come by setting him back. Oh. Don't allow yourself to succumb to the dangers of hubris. Grand Moff Tarkin, in Episode 4, he was one of the Empire's greatest strategists. And they had the Empire, their forces on the Death Star, they knew that they might have found a weakness. The rebels might have found a weakness. And he refused to evacuate, which is arrogant. Considering the strength of the Empire and the relative strength of the Rebel Alliance at that point, it was understandable, but it was arrogant and hubristic. If there's a chance that the whole place can come crumbling down, you evacuate. You worry about you worry about your image later, because worrying is secondary to being alive, in order to worry. Doesn't matter how embarrassed you are if you're still alive. I think Revan had a saying, Revan, the Jedi/Sith from the Old Republic era. He said, I'm awfully fond of this. It's, honor is a fool's prize. Glory is of no use to the dead. I think that pretty much sums up the problem with Tarkin's approach. Yep. That's all I can come up with for now. If you want to hear more, I'm sure I could dig up something. Or if you want to hear me address a different universe, by all means, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Can't stand it when people say like, share, subscribe, so I won't say like, share, subscribe. I'll just not say like, share, subscribe. So don't worry about liking, sharing, or subscribing. Like, share, subscribe! Till next time, I'm Mitch, and I'll see you guys later.